A nice series win for the Seattle Mariners as they continue to try and claw their way back into the postseason picture. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. Mariners defeat the St. Louis Cardinals earlier today. This will be up Monday morning for you folks. 10-4, they improve to 73-71 on the year. Houston loses, they're 4.5 back in the AL West. Minnesota loses, their 3.5 back on the wild card race. So still have the hearts beating a little bit. Before I dive into this any further, do me a favor as always, smash that like button, comment your thoughts on the game down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Do want to give a quick channel update. I did mention this at the end of a video a couple days ago, but I figured I'd put the beginning so everybody can hear it. I will not be doing Seahawks post-game recaps. If you don't care about this, you can fast forward a couple minutes. It was a big part of my channel last year. Couple reasons. One, football's big in our family. As you guys know, my father passed away last February. Big football fan. So really, we've made it a point this year to spend each Sunday with family. And some of my closest friends. We did that yesterday. We had a great time. We just get together. We have breakfast. We watch the early games. We watch the Seahawks or whoever. I got a couple friends that are Cowboys fans and stuff. So, we mix it up. We do it all. But Sundays are really going to be about that for us, for me and my family. So I will not be doing post-game recaps for the Seahawks. Good news is there's tons of great Seahawks content creators out there that do. Hawk Blogger's been killing it this year with his stuff. So now that doesn't mean Seahawks content's going away. My plan is to do a weekly show on Wednesdays where I'll break down the previous game. And it'll be good because we'll kind of remove from the emotions of a loss or a win. So I'll get to kind of break it down. We'll look at snap counts. We'll look at how I thought the offense, defense, special teams look. We'll look ahead to the next week. Maybe we'll look at some of the advanced analytics. We'll look at DVOA, see how they did for the game with all that stuff. Now, that doesn't mean there won't be post-game recaps. I may just have to come on and talk about it. Sometimes I just got to get off my chest. You guys are, I appreciate all your support, but you guys are also my sounding board. So sometimes I need to do it, but for the most part, that's going to be the plan for this year. But we'll obviously have the Mariners post-game recap. So let's go ahead then and dive into the Mariners post-game recap. Like I said, 10-4 win. Nice series win for the Mariners, right? As frustrating as Saturday was, and it was frustrating, and it was a game that felt very winnable with the way Logan Gilbert pitched, and man, a sweep would have been nice. And they're still in a position where they're going to have to probably rattle off some sweeps. But they're playing better baseball here, right? They win the last 2 in Oakland. They win 2 out of 3 from St. Louis. Nice way to finish up the road trip. Overall, not really where we wanted it to be. I think it needed to be a little bit better. You're fortunate, like Houston's in a little bit of a scuffle right now. Minnesota's not playing good ball, so you are gaining ground here. But you're still probably in a spot where you're going to have to rattle off a series sweep coming up here, something like that, to really just take out a chunk of games. But on the flip side, you've got 2-3 weeks left. You can just chop that lead by a game each week. You're in okay shape. You're at least giving yourself that opportunity. And most importantly, not most importantly, because this season without the playoffs is a failure. It is. I cannot frame it any other way. If I would, I could, but there is not another way to frame it. However, it is nice to see them playing better baseball. The offense, after a very poor performance Saturday, which shouldn't be forgotten, bounces back and has an outstanding performance Sunday. I get Michaelis hasn't been great this year, but how many times have we talked about not great pitchers shutting this team down? The offense has looked much more consistent, better at-bats under Dan Wilson and under Edgar. The nice thing is with Saturday is in the past, or early in the year, and again, this is still very small sample sizes, but early in the year, it just would have been compounded. It would have been shut down on Sunday, shut down on Monday, shut down on Tuesday. At least here, yes, Saturday stunk, but they rebounded with a big performance on Sunday. So they're at least bouncing back from it. Again, we didn't expect this offense to be the best in baseball. You just can't be a train wreck. And since Dan and Edgar have taken over, they, I believe, are 5th in baseball in WRC+. Again, small sample, but they have been, and the approach just looks better to me. Of course, they're scoring more runs. Of course, the approach is going to look better. So that just may be a little bit of just results, how it's looking, if you know what I mean. But it has seemed to be more in sync. Obviously, a little nervous with Luis Castillo. Really, he rolled his ankle, I think it was, or was it a hamstring? I don't. Again, I wasn't home during the game, so I was watching it on the phone. I couldn't really hear, but I think it was an ankle that he rolled. So hopefully okay for the next start. Unfortunately here, uh, down the stretch, you're going to need all hands on deck. I have faith that if Emerson Hancock had to make a couple starts, he could do okay. But you'd really like to have Luis Castillo down stretcher. But a great job by the bullpen yesterday. We've kind of seen this team get big leads and let other teams claw back into it, and they didn't do that yesterday. So that was good to see for the Mariners. Let's look at the box score. Castillo, 3 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 3 Ks. Obviously, hope he's okay with the injuries. We could really use Luis Castillo down the stretch. Not only fantastic pitcher, good veteran presence as you're trying to make a potential playoff run here. So hopefully Castillo's okay. I believe Dan wasn't sure about making the next start or not. Wasn't sure yet. So I'm sure they're getting some stuff looked at today. Me and Mariners are planning to do a video tonight. We've got a long work day going on, so I don't know, but the plan is that we'll have a video up today. If there's any info on that, we'll go over it. Nice job by Trent Thornton. 2 shutout innings, a hit, 2 strikeouts. Thornton's kind of another one of those guys, microcosm of the Mariners, a lot of ups and downs for him this season. Started out pretty solid. Again, Trent Thornton's never going to be, to me, like the best reliever in baseball, but was pitching pretty well. Kind of hit a snag where he really struggled. And he's actually pitched better recently. I don't know if that's any correlation from Dan coming over, but Thornton, obviously Pete Woodward's still there, same pitching coaching staff, but Thornton's looked better. Relievers can be inconsistent. They will go through spells where you wonder how they've ever gotten an out, and then they go through runs where you wonder how they've ever given up a run. And right now, Thornton's looked better. And again, I repeat myself all the time, but you guys, I say it all the time too. It's talking about this team every day. You're bound to do that. They need all hands on deck reliever-wise. Munoz has been a little banged up. No Jimmy Garcia. Santos is throwing in Tacoma, but I don't know if he's in the right spot to come back or not. And you haven't gotten a great performance from Gabe Spire this year, who's back in Tacoma. So Colin Snyder's been a revelation, but you need all hands on deck. And if Thornton can give you something in kind of those middle innings, it would be huge. Nice outing from Saucedo. 2 innings, a hit, a walk, 2 strikeouts. Saucedo's been better his last few times. He was in a patch there where you wondered about sending him down a little bit to Tacoma to work on some things. And again, not an elite reliever, but anybody right now that can come in and get you outs is pivotal. So nice outing from Sauce. Bizzardo struggled a little bit. I've talked up Bizzardo a few times, but again, the inconsistencies are there. I certainly understand why they're not using him in very high leverage spots. And at the time I mentioned it, the team looked like they were pretty much done. So I'm like, hey, give Bizzardo an 8th inning, see what happens, see if he can get out of it and see if his stuff works. But he gives up a couple runs in 2/3 of an inning. Chagua finishes it off with an inning and a third and 2 strikeouts. And then obviously day off on Monday for the Mariners, so nothing too concerning with workloads there. So and a needed day off here. Houston, I think, is off today as well. I think they play 16 games in 16 days or something. So, maybe they run into a little fatigue. And that's something you can maybe take advantage of. We'll see. Still 4.5 back there. Though, like I said, the goal, wild card, you're 3.5 back. Goal there is just keep making up ground. And you're 5 back at Kansas City in the wild card. They play New York. Maybe the Yankees can beat them up. So, that's your goal there. With Houston, the goal's got to be try to get to 2 or 3 by the time you play them. I've said it for the last probably month, honestly, and that's still where I am. Try to get that to 2 or 3. And hope you can do some damage against them. Great day offensively, 13 hits, 10 runs, 4 walks, still struck out 13 times, but you know what? Again, you can live with the strikeouts when you're scoring runs. It's a combination of strikeouts and not putting the ball in play and not scoring, not situationally hitting well. That's the combo that's deadly. But I think every Mariner reached base today except for Josh Rojas. Dylan Moore and Rivas came in, but they only had an at-bat a piece, and Rivas actually did reach in that at bat. Nice game for Julio, 2 for 5 with a double. Julio's batting average all year has been okay. Modern day baseball 262 is fine. It's funny, back in the day, I remember looking at lineups and like even your worst 9-hole hitter was hitting like 292. Those days are just gone in baseball. But it's been the slugging with Julio, right? It's been some of the wild strikeouts and then the slugging that has been down for Julio this year, but it's been better, right? Since Edgar's come over, they've adjusted his hand position and everything. He's put together much better at bats and looks legitimately better at the plate. So nice game from Julio. Cal 1 for 5. It was a big one, got the base hit that drove in, I believe, the first run of the game. Great game from Arozarena, 2 for 5, 2 RBIs with the home run, I believe his third since joining the Mariners. He's been swinging the bat much better. Luke Raley, 2 for 4, two doubles, two RBIs, and a walk. Luke Raley OPS up to 763, and there was some concern about Luke Raley, right? Like, not concerned so much in the sense that I think we all thought it was a decent trade. I did think Caballero had a little bit more value than maybe some people thought. Like, I didn't think it was a steal necessarily, but I liked the trade from the Mariners standpoint. But Raley was a guy that really had a really nice first half of last year and kind of tailed off a bit in the second half. So there were some legit concerns. Now, he wasn't playing a lot to start the season. They went with Dom Canzone, which looking back on it now, you're kind of like, maybe you should just go with Raley from the start there. But I get Dom had a big spring training, but it is what it is. But yeah, you look back on that. And maybe another reason, I don't know if that's a Jerry decision or a Scott decision, but I doubt that was just Scott making that call. But anyways, I got to stop ragging on Scott. He's gone. Lost my train of thought there. But yeah, Raley's been great. I mean, really one of the, we talk about all the failure acquisitions that Depoto's had, and they have been there, but Raley's certainly not one of them. He has been a great addition for the Mariners, probably been their most consistent hitter, and that's the other thing, too. Talk about a guy that's been streaky, but he really hasn't been. I mean, every hitter in baseball is streaky to an extent, but he's kind of once he started getting regular playing time, he's just been solid, no doubt. So, that's been a tremendous acquisition for the Mariners for sure. And Raley's ability to kind of play all over the place and good on the base paths too. So been a tremendous acquisition. Justin Turner, 2 for 3, double, a single, and a walk. I mean, honestly, Justin Turner's been a pretty solid acquisition as well. I know Ty France is kind of killing it in Cincinnati. Listen, it wasn't working here with Ty France. Like, I think we can all say it just wasn't. It wasn't happening. It didn't happen second half of 2022. It didn't happen all of last year, and it didn't happen for the first half plus of this season. It just wasn't working. Cincinnati's a big hitter's ballpark. Sometimes guys just need a change of scenery. There's nothing you can do. Look at Victor Robles, right? Like, I don't know if there's anything the Nationals could have done. He just needed to go somewhere else. I think that's the case with Ty France. And you've gotten decent production from Justin Turner, right? Like, Justin Turner has kind of done what you have needed him to do. It's just unfortunate the team really kind of fell off at first there with the acquisition. And I think it's kind of been unnoticed, but Turner's been pretty solid, honestly, all things considered. Dylan Moore came in was 0 for 1. Polanco 1 for 4 with the 2-run home run. Good to see in the 5th inning there. Polanco's been scuffling a bit. Good to see the power coming back. JP was 2 for 4. Good to see with a double, a base hit, an RBI, and a walk. JP on base 3 times. He swung the bat a little bit better the last few games as well. Good to see. Mitch Garver was 1 for 4. With a 2-run single. Garver's at-bats have been better in September as well. And then Rojas was 0 for 5. So just all in all, better performance from everybody. Truthfully, they've all been swinging the bats a little better. Like I said, even Mitch Garver, certainly not going to, put him on the Mariners Mount Rushmore, but going back to the series in Oakland, he had a big double in Anaheim. He's been better, right? He's at least not kind of been an automatic out. There's been some semblance of hope when he comes to play, and it's good to see JP get going as well. So here we go. What we have? 18 games left, 18 games to go. I mean, you're still in this. Again, like I said, I think anything outside of playoffs is a failure for this team. But you still got a shot at it, and it's better. It's good to see the team playing better baseball. So day off Monday, back Tuesday for the Padres, back home. Let's see if a little home cooking can get this team on a little win streak and, make this a fun final couple weeks of baseball. So have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the Mariners off day. Enjoy the Seahawks W from yesterday. Take care, everybody. And as always, go Mariners. Peace.